Hey everybody, how's it going? Not a lot of action lately in the old NFL, at least nothing that I've cared to address. But even though I'm taking a little bit of a break from uploading content because it's a dead zone right now, we still have our Seattle Mariners, and we are now more than halfway through the season. We are past the All-Star break, and they continue to give us stuff to talk about. So I'm going to check in with another Mariners video. It's been 9 games since the last check in. We've gone through the All Star break, and the team is still playing well. And I wouldn't say that they've proven they're a good team yet, but I feel like this team's a little more credible than they were even 10 days ago. And they have gotten enough quality players in this lineup to where they can survive a cold streak from one or two guys that they would normally count on. So that's good. Earlier this season, it was obvious. Haniger and France were completely carrying, with Seager occasionally carrying as well whenever, he would go through hot and cold streaks constantly. And if one of those three guys started to struggle, it felt like there was nobody there to pick them up. But now it feels like there are guys. So the team looks a little better. Now, they're 50 and 44. Are they a 50 and 44 team? Not really. I mean, if you look at their record by runs scored versus runs allowed, they should be a 52 loss team right now. They have 8 more wins than they should going by their runs scored. Now, I I feel like a lot of that is left over from earlier this season when they really were a bad team that was just finding a way to win every close game they played, but I don't think we're all the way there yet, but we're getting closer, and I'm happy with the way the guys are playing right now. Like I said, last 9 games. It's been 9 games since I made one of these check-in videos. They've won 2 series and lost one. They've gone 5-4. Yeah, 5-4. So successful. You would call that successful. And most of those games were against the division. We've had the All-Star break, of course. I feel like we had a couple players, one in particular, really, who needed that All-Star break, so that was pretty good. And yeah, there's some stuff to be happy about. So, before we get to the 100 game checkpoint, let's go ahead and take a look. So, in the last 9 games, just to blow through it real quick, we got waxed by the Yankees, and we did manage to take one from them, though, and then we've taken 2 or 3 from the Angels, and then 2 or 3 from the Angels. Uh, just to talk about the playoffs real quick, because we're most of the way through the season, and it's reasonable to at least think about the playoffs now. I I kind of feel like the teams in front of us are going to keep winning. So, unless this team becomes a lot better, and I do mean even better than they've been over the last couple of weeks, I don't think we're going to get there. I feel like those teams ahead of us, like Oakland and Houston, I think they're going to keep winning. So, this team is not going to back into a playoff spot. I think we're going to have to do some serious damage to actually outpace those teams. And if you take a look at some of the things this team might do before the trade deadline, it could be difficult. We'll know more after the trade deadline, though. But looking at the way this team has played over the last 9 games and how it kind of ties into the bigger picture of this team, um, JP Crawford's cooled off a little bit. I feel like he's still playing well. He's still playing fine, but he cooled off a little bit. I don't think he's raking the way that he was a couple of weeks ago, but I kind of feel like Dylan Moore might slowly be turning it around. Torrens continues to hit really well. He's got his Ops Plus up above 100, which is crazy for him because of how bad he was earlier. And it's what I'm talking about. You can have a guy go through a cold stretch and it's not a death knell anymore. Um, Earlier this year, a guy like Crawford hitting really well would have cooled off and nobody would have stepped up. But now it seems like we actually have a guy in Torrens, and I don't want to jinx it because it's been 3 games, but Kalenic actually looked like a credible MLB batter in the Angels series. He had 3 hits in that series. Ty France, I thought, has played well in the last several games. Haniger continues to play well. He's been good pretty much the whole season. Um, it it's not great. We need Kyle Lewis back badly. I think that's pretty obvious. Hopefully, we can get him back before the end of the season, and hopefully, he's able to actually play well before the end of the season. But even losing Jake Fraley to that injury, and that's certainly unfortunate, but I think he'll be back pretty quickly. It didn't kill us, and that's a big positive. So yeah, and Seager, I'm gonna say the same stuff about Seager that I always do. For a 33-year-old dude with all that mileage on his body, he finally got a couple games off, which is good, but he's playing way too much. So I'm not gonna be mad about him having an ops plus of 97. I'm gonna live with that. So this lineup, Torrens has been hugely crucial to this lineup in the last several weeks. So having him around has been a real, it's been a, it's saved us really. So the lineup's fine. Now, if you go to the pitching real quick, let's scroll down here and take a look here. We're still getting good stuff from Kikuchi. He's not the guy we paid for necessarily, but he's good. Flexen had a great start the other day. Uh, uh, Marco, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about Marco at this point. I don't know what to expect from him at this point. I know I think Sheffield had one decent outing the other day, but he's still hanging a little bit, and we need Justin Dunn back quickly. I think he was only on the 10-day injured list, so hopefully he gets back soon because he's been gone a lot longer than that. But those things are just window dressing compared to the thing that really matters right now with this team, which is Logan Gilbert. Um, he has been pitching lights out his last several starts. He had a great start the other day against the Angels. I think it was 2 days ago because, yeah, yesterday we were off and today we restart up. I think it's 6. So Logan Gilbert's looked great, and he was a guy I was a little bit worried about at first just because he felt like a fly ball pitcher to me, but he's really gotten that under control and he's making it work. And that was a great start he had against the Yankees, shutting them out. He had a great start against the Angels. And if Logan Gilbert is the real deal, and for his last several starts he's looked like it, that is massively important to this team. Mitch Haniger's having a great season. He is. But him having a great season doesn't necessarily mean that much for this franchise because it doesn't seem like Mitch Haniger is going to be here much longer. But Logan Gilbert could be here for the next decade plus, for all we know. I don't want to commit to that, but he's going to be part of the future plans. If he's good, then maybe we have an ace. And I know we have other pitchers in our farm system that are considered to be better prospects than Gilbert, who are starters. So that's obviously really that's obviously something to get excited about. But just talking about Logan Gilbert, that means something. He's not only is he big for the future, he's big right now. Without him, not having Dunn and Sheffield struggling would have been a real killer. But with him going out there every once a week, or a little more than once a week, it's been it's worked pretty well. And the bullpen, they're not blowing games. They're not. They're not playing great from time to time. I'm not going to get mad at them for almost blowing that Angels game because we had 2 ninth inning errors, but Montero continues to be a roller coaster ride that nobody really likes to jump on. Steckenrider was very shaky that one game. Um, I feel like we have a lot of guys who I trust a little bit, like Steckenrider. Graveman, I trust a lot. Okay, I'll give it to Graveman. But Sewald, I kind of trust. JT, I kind of trust. Middleton, I kind of trust. Swanson, I kind of trust. But yeah, I wish I had more strong trust in a couple of guys rather than weak trust in a bunch of guys, you know? That's what I can say about it right now. I it there were a couple games in the last week where we had to turn to the bullpen pretty early. Gilbert, although he had a great start the other day against the Angels, had to throw a lot of pitches. We had to pull him early. And there's a part of me that understood you don't want to overwork your young pitcher, especially when he's starting to labor. But I was like, I don't want to put this bullpen out here right now. That doesn't feel comfortable to me at all. But you got to do it. You got to do it. I think there was a one start where Flexen, I think he went 7 innings against I think it was the Angels, lights out, and then we pull him and put the bullpen out there. And I remember the comments in the Mariners Facebook group. I mean, people throwing a fit. Like, why would you pull Flexen? He was pitching so great. And part of me is like, yeah, you don't want to overwork your starter who is not a light him up, set him down, perfect ace. But putting the bullpen out there at that time almost cost us that game. That got very scary there. So that's really what I can say about this team. I don't know if they're good yet, but they're close. I feel like they're maybe so close to being good that you could call them good and it's not that big of a deal. They're doing the right things and they're showing some promise for the future. Again, I don't want to jinx the clinic thing, but he looked fine against the Angels. And we got to see, God, I actually went to a Rainiers game last week. The catcher Duke, Cal Riley. He got called up. He didn't really do much, but good to see him up there. So it's exciting to watch that stuff. But just talking about the current team, they're playing well enough to keep us watching every night. And as a Mariners fan, I'm pretty appreciative of that. All right, I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. We'll talk about the Mariners again. But hey, things are working out right now. Things are working out. They're still winning close games, and maybe they can ride that all the way to a playoff berth. Can we start talking about it yet? Maybe.